Hello friends, it is Link the Gulf Coast Gardener. Today is Wednesday, December the 11th, and this is the second video in a series about starting seeds indoors. So let's go take a look and see how things are progressing. Now, it's been a little over 5 weeks since we planted these seeds. I seeded all of these trays on November the 3rd, so about 5 weeks ago, and they're doing really well. Now, these first two trays, these are both Texas native perennials. They are in the Monarda family. This particular one is called Lemon Mint, and I'll put a picture up here. This is one of my favorite flowers to grow. The bees absolutely love any type of Monarda. So it's also known as bee balm. So find some bee balm, find some Monarda, and start your own native perennials. And the nice thing about Lemon Mint and Monarda is that it doesn't need any special treatment. No stratification, no scarification. So they're super easy to start from seed. And look at this, I've got 50 plants here, maybe more because I'll divide some of those. Now, I also love to grow oregano and all types of herbs, and this is a classic Greek oregano, doing really well as you can see. So that's about 5 weeks in. Oregano is super easy to start from seed, and they're really easy to sell as well. And the nice thing about growing herbs like oregano is that if, for example, I sell most of my plants in 4-inch pots, but if I don't sell them, all I need to do is pot it up into a larger container, into a gallon, and the price goes up. So perennial herbs do really well at the farmer's market. Now, this is a salvia. Salvia is possibly my favorite perennial to grow here in Texas Gulf Coast Zone 9B. And this is Victoria Blue. It's a cultivar of mealy cup sage, but it's a little brighter in color. And while I love to grow true natives, I don't feel bad about growing cultivars. The pollinators love Victoria Blue salvia, so do the hummingbirds, butterflies, moths, bees, everything flocks to these flowers, and they are super hardy. The Victoria Blue salvia, I plant it in full sun on the west side of my house. It flowers basically year-round until a freeze kills it. Or kills it back, because it also comes back from a freeze. So that's another really nice thing. At least it does here in my Zone 9B, where we get down to around, 25 degrees is usually about the lowest, sometimes down to 20. So Victoria Blue salvia is a fantastic flowering perennial. Down below, now this is creeping thyme. Look how pretty this is. This entire tray comes from a single seed packet. I don't even think I planted the seed packet. So I've got 24 cells in each one of these trays. And creeping thyme is just like a classic thyme that you would use in the kitchen, but instead of growing upright, it stays low to the ground. It's a ground cover. It makes these really pretty purple flowers. That's also a perennial here in my zone. It'll come back year after year. It's probably very hardy, probably comes back in multiple zones farther north of me, although I don't exactly know. But creeping thyme, super easy to grow from seed. Now, these are hollyhocks, and I've started saving a lot of my own seeds recently, and I've been planting flowers in the fall, and hollyhocks were part of a mix that I planted 2 falls ago, and I had the most gorgeous hollyhock garden this past summer that I've ever seen. I didn't even know they would bloom the first year, but I guess technically it was sort of the second year. Since I planted them in the fall, they overwintered, and then they just went gangbusters. And when I went to go cut them back, I noticed that there were seed pods everywhere, and they were perfectly dry. So I collected a bunch of my seeds, and they germinated really well. I sent 20 packets to friends and neighbors around the country, and I love sharing seeds. And I'll put a picture of the flowers up here. So pretty. I will grow hollyhocks every year, and they're really easy to start directly from seed. Next to the hollyhocks, this is another salvia. This is the true native. This is scarlet sage. It is a red salvia. It's bright red. The hummingbirds love it. All of the pollinators love it. I find that the red family of salvia or sage likes a little bit of afternoon shade. So I'm growing this in a pot on the east side of the house. I'll put a picture up here. You can see how pretty it is. Love growing salvias. Great for the pollinators. Texas native. This thing flowers year-round as well. And all of the seeds from this tray, I saved this year from that single potted plant that I have up, or that I had up a couple of minutes ago. So super easy to save your own seed. And look, I've got incredible germination. These things are doing so good. Look at the root system on these guys. Is it focusing for you? There are a total of 3 plants inside this one plug. And so when I pot these up into 4-inch pots, I'll just divide them. And so this 24 cell container may end up closer to 70 plants when it's all said and done. Now next to that, this is, I forget what this is, Ah, yes, yet another salvia. So you see the theme. I love growing salvia here in Jamaica Beach. This is coral nymph salvia. It's like this beautiful coral color, as you can imagine. So it's kind of this light pink, sometimes has some white flowers on it. I'll put a picture up, you can see. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm growing this up on the deck, and so this is a cultivar of the scarlet sage, this guy right here. So it's not a true native, but it's still close enough in my book. And the butterflies, bees, pollinators love coral nymph. It's a beautiful color. I grow it up on the deck, as I mentioned. It gets full sun most of the day, but then it gets a little afternoon shade, which, as I mentioned, the red family of salvias like a little afternoon shade in the hottest part of the summer. Now down here are more Texas natives. This is 3 full or almost full trays of violets, the common blue violet. I love this flower. The violet is the host plant for several types of fritillary butterfly. I don't know if I have those butterflies here in Jamaica Beach. We do have the Gulf fritillary. I don't know if we have the other ones. I wouldn't be surprised if we do, though. Now, violets are a native plant, and they are a little persnickety. You do have to stratify them. So I had several packets of seed that I bought probably in September. I just put them in a plastic bag in the refrigerator. I didn't do the whole sand thing or anything like that. I just literally took the packets of seeds, wrapped them in a paper towel, put them in the refrigerator for probably 4 months. And then when I was ready to plant them, I seeded them in these trays, and look, I've got really good germination. Native plants are expensive. You rarely, if ever, see violets for sale. And so you just have to grow them yourself. And I don't like messing with that whole stratification stuff, but you know what? In this case, I'm really happy that I did. I love growing violets. Now I've got 2 more down on the end. This is another tray of that coral nymph salvia that I mentioned before. Germination wasn't great, but you know what? I saved these seeds myself this year from a couple of plants. So these are all free other than my labor, the dirt, and the plastic. But here's another 20 coral nymph salvia. I could probably divide these, so I'll probably get more like 40 out of this one tray. I love starting seeds. It's a great way to get large quantities of plants for your yard, or for your friends. Now down on the end, this is rosemary. Now, I think there's also some oregano seed that's snuck in there. Germination is not very good. This seed is not new. I find that rosemary really, it drops in quality quickly. So buy your seed and use them the first year, and probably just toss any old seed because the germination is terrible on this. I'm only going to get 5 or 6 rosemaries out of this. This is primed rosemary from Johnny's Selected Seeds. I have really good luck with that particular variety, but it needs to be fresh seeds. So most other seeds will last for several seasons if you take care of them, but rosemary is one of those things that you really need fresh seed every year. So, well, I love starting seeds indoors. You don't have to start all of these trays yourself. You can just get 2 or 3 of these trays, and you can mix and match. For example, you could put several kinds of salvia in this one tray. 2 rows of 3 or 4 different varieties, and you would have a whole bunch of plants in a single tray. So anyway, the seed starting in the garage is going really well. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and as always, have a great day.